The vast expanse of space stretched out like an endless black canvas, silent and unforgiving. Lieutenant Jae-hyun Park sat in the cockpit of the prototype starship, his fingers dancing lightly across the control panel. The ship hummed with a soft electronic pulse, a machine designed to push the boundaries of human exploration. Outside the reinforced view screen, stars glimmered like distant diamonds against the deep darkness. Jae-hyun's mission was simple, yet complex. Test the limits of the new experimental spacecraft that engineers had spent years developing. Every system, every circuit, every potential weakness needed to be explored and understood. His radar suddenly flickered. Something was out there. At first, just a faint signal, barely registering on the sensitive instruments. Then, more definitive, a formation of alien vessels emerging from what seemed like nothing, like ghosts materializing from the cosmic shadows. The alien ships were unlike anything in human records. Sleek, almost organic in design, they moved with a precision that suggested intelligence far beyond mechanical navigation. Their metallic surfaces reflected starlight, creating an almost ethereal appearance that was both beautiful and intimidating. Jae-hyun's training kicked in. Years of simulator practice, countless hours studying unexpected encounter protocols, and a natural calm that came from generations of human explorers prepared him for this moment. He wasn't scared, he was curious. His hands moved with practiced efficiency, adjusting the ship's systems. The prototype's energy shields activated silently, a thin but powerful barrier of protection. Communication systems scanned multiple frequencies, attempting to establish contact or at least understand the aliens' intentions. The alien squadron seemed equally cautious. They maintained a perfect geometric formation, moving as one unified entity. No aggressive signals were transmitted, but their presence felt like a challenge. They were watching him, analyzing, judging. Jae-hyun knew that first contact scenarios were delicate. One wrong move could escalate into conflict, or worse, misunderstanding between species. His breath remained steady, his heart rate controlled. The cockpit felt small, but his mind was expansive, ready to adapt to whatever might happen. Instruments began collecting data. The alien ship's technological signatures were complex, showing energy patterns and propulsion mechanisms far more advanced than current human understanding. But advanced didn't always mean superior, a lesson Jae-hyun was about to demonstrate. He initiated a slow, non-threatening approach. The prototype responded perfectly, its movement smooth and calculated. No sudden jerks, no aggressive positioning, just a calm, deliberate navigation that showed respect and curiosity. The lead alien vessel shifted slightly, a movement that felt like a response. Communication wasn't happening through traditional means, but something was definitely being communicated. A dance of technology, a silent conversation happening between two completely different species. Jae-hyun's training had prepared him for many scenarios, but this was different. This was real. The theoretical discussions in academies, the simulated encounters, they all fell away in the face of this genuine moment of potential first contact. Minutes stretched like hours. The alien ships continued their perfect formation, watching, waiting. Jae-hyun remained perfectly still, his hands light on the controls, ready but not aggressive. Every system in the prototype was running at optimal efficiency, a testament to human engineering and preparation. Something was about to happen. The tension was palpable, even in the soundless vacuum of space. A moment of connection, of potential understanding, hung in the balance. Jae-hyun represented humanity in this moment. Not with weapons or threats, but with skill, curiosity, and an open mind. The alien squadron's lead vessel suddenly pulsed with a bright light. A communication signal that wasn't audio or visual, but something more complex. Jae-hyun felt a slight vibration through the prototype's hull, almost like a digital probing. Commander Woo Jin, leading the alien formation, studied the human ship with calculated precision. To his advanced sensors, the spacecraft looked primitive, almost awkward. Its design seemed random, without the smooth mathematical symmetry of Astrian engineering. A single human vessel, Woo Jin transmitted to his squadron, Observe but maintain. Defensive positioning. Jae-hyun understood something fundamental about encounters. Perception matters more than actual capability. He knew the aliens were scanning every inch of his ship, looking for weaknesses, trying to understand its potential. With subtle movements, he began a series of navigation sequences that would challenge their understanding. The prototype wasn't just a machine. It was an extension of human creativity and adaptability. The first maneuver was simple yet complex. He shifted the ship's position using minimal energy, sliding between two alien vessels with a grace that defied their computational predictions. No sudden movements, just smooth, calculated navigation that suggested something beyond programmed responses. Woo Jin's sensors registered confusion. The human pilot wasn't following any standard navigation protocol. Each movement seemed improvised yet precise, like a jazz musician interpreting a musical piece differently each time. One of the younger alien pilots, a navigator named Reen, whispered an observation. The humans' movements. They're unpredictable. Unpredictability was not a trait the Astrian squadron valued. Their entire combat and exploration philosophy relied on precise calculations, predetermined paths, and mathematical certainty. This human pilot was introducing an element of chaos into their perfectly structured world. Jae-hyun continued his demonstration. He used the prototype's gravitational manipulators to create a subtle energy wave, a technique not found in any alien technical manual. The wave passed through the alien formation not as a threat but as a demonstration of capability. The alien ships momentarily lost their perfect geometric formation. For beings who prided themselves on absolute control, this was shocking. Woo Jin's communication array sparked with frustration and growing respect. Analyze, he commanded his squadron. Break down these movement patterns. But human flying wasn't about patterns. It was about feeling, intuition, a connection between pilot and machine that went beyond programmed responses. Jae-hyun embodied centuries of human exploration, from early ocean navigators to sky pioneers to space explorers. Another sequence followed. The prototype twisted through a simulated gravitational field, using momentum and energy in ways the aliens had never conceived. It wasn't just flying. It was dancing with the fundamental forces of the universe. Reen's instruments began recording everything. Something fundamental was happening. A potential paradigm shift in understanding interspecies navigation and technological capability. Woo Jin remained silent, his sensors overwhelmed. The human pilot wasn't showing off. He was simply existing, moving, navigating. And in that simplicity lay a complexity that challenged everything the Astrian squadron believed about space travel. The prototype's energy signature was unique, not the most powerful, not the most advanced, but somehow perfectly balanced. Each system worked not in isolation, but as a living, breathing ecosystem of technology and human intuition. As the encounter continued, something shifted. What started as a potential confrontation was transforming into something else. Curiosity. Respect. A recognition that capability comes in many forms, and that understanding begins with observation. Jae-hyun wasn't trying to prove anything. He was simply doing what humans had always done: explore, adapt, and push boundaries. In the vast, silent canvas of space, a simple human pilot was rewriting the rules of engagement. The alien squadron watched, their perfect formation now broken, their understanding fundamentally challenged by a single, unexpected vessel. Commander, Woo Jin's pride burned with a mixture of frustration and curiosity. No human pilot had ever disrupted their squadron's perfect formation like this. He opened a direct communication channel, his voice carrying a sharp edge of challenge. Human pilot, he transmitted. You will now complete our standard navigation test. Prepare yourself. Jae-hyun understood challenges, not as threats but as opportunities. His fingers touched the prototype's control panel with calm precision. Around him, the ship's systems hummed with quiet anticipation. The first phase appeared instantly. A simulated asteroid field materialized on his sensors. Thousands of spinning, tumbling rocks ranging from small pebbles to massive planetary fragments. Each object moved at unpredictable speeds, creating a deadly dance of potential destruction. Astrian navigation systems typically calculated precise paths, avoiding each obstacle with mathematical perfection. But Jae-hyun saw something different. He saw opportunity, movement, a living puzzle waiting to be solved. His prototype began weaving, not with rigid calculations, but with fluid grace. Each movement felt alive, almost organic. Where alien pilots would make straight, predictable routes, Jae-hyun's ship seemed to breathe with the asteroid field's rhythm. Smaller fragments brushed against the ship's energy shields. Instead of fighting them, he used their momentum, turning potential threats into navigation assists. It was like watching a dancer move through a complex choreography, making impossible movements look simple. Reen, the young navigator, watched in total disbelief. Her computational models couldn't predict the human's next move. Each decision seemed to come from something beyond programming, a mix of intuition and skill that defied standard understanding. The asteroid challenge intensified. Massive rock formations began colliding, creating additional debris fields. Standard pilots would retreat. Jae-hyun pushed forward, finding paths where no paths seemed to exist. His prototype twisted, turned, dropped, and rose with incredible speed. Not through brute force, but through an understanding of energy, momentum, and spatial relationships that seemed almost mystical to the alien observers. Commander Woo Jin's sensors struggled to track the human pilot's movements. Every time they predicted a potential collision, Jae-hyun would find a completely unexpected route. It was like watching someone solve a three-dimensional puzzle while simultaneously creating new puzzle pieces. The second phase arrived, a quantum storm. Massive energy waves that could tear apart most spacecraft flickered into existence. Electrical charges danced between massive cloud-like formations, creating navigation nightmares. Where alien technology would shut down to protect systems, Jae-hyun's prototype seemed to dance with the storm. He used quantum energy waves as propulsion, turning potential destruction into a navigation tool. Each movement was a conversation with the universe's most chaotic elements. Gravitational wells appeared next, regions of space where intense gravity could crush even the most advanced spacecraft. Normal pilots would calculate escape routes. Jae-hyun saw them as challenges to be understood, not feared. His ship twisted through gravity's embrace, using its pull instead of fighting against it. He transformed potential destruction into a navigation technique, sliding through impossibly tight spaces with a grace that seemed to defy physical laws. The alien squadron's communication channels became silent. Their perfect, calculated world was being rewritten by a single human pilot who saw challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities for creative solutions. Reen's young voice broke the silence. How is he doing this? Commander Woo Jin had no answer. For the first time in his long career, standard protocols and computational models seemed inadequate. The human pilot wasn't just passing their test, he was redefining what was possible. As the final simulation phase concluded, Jae-hyun's prototype emerged without a single system failure, not through technological superiority, but through something far more complex: human adaptability, creativity, and an ability to see beyond established rules. The challenge was complete. But something more significant had just happened. A fundamental understanding was shifting, like tectonic plates of technological philosophy slowly realigning. The alien communication channel opened with a mix of respect and confusion. Commander Woo Jin's voice carried a tone that was both challenging and curious. "Explain your techniques," he demanded. Jae-hyun understood this was more than a simple request. This was an opportunity to bridge two different approaches to navigation, two completely different ways of understanding space and movement. He began slowly, carefully choosing words that would translate across species and technological barriers. Navigation isn't just about calculations, he explained. It's about feeling the space around you. The prototype's holographic systems activated, creating a visual representation of his explanation. Streams of data mixed with fluid motion graphics, showing how human pilots interpret navigation as a living, breathing experience. Reen, the young alien navigator, leaned closer to her monitoring station. Her sensors captured every nuance of the human's explanation, trying to understand a concept that went beyond their rigid computational models. Jae-hyun talked about energy management, not as a technical concept, but as a living dance. He explained how pilots learn to read subtle changes in space, to feel the potential of each movement before it happens. It was less about predicting and more about sensing. Our training, he continued, focuses on adaptability. We don't just learn paths, we learn to create paths where none exist. The alien squadron exchanged glances. This was revolutionary. Their entire navigation philosophy was based on predetermined routes, calculated risks, and absolute precision. The human was talking about something entirely different, navigation as an art form. He demonstrated using the prototype's recorded flight data. Each movement wasn't a result of programmed instructions, but a response to the environment. Where alien pilots saw obstacles, human pilots saw opportunities. Where calculations ended, intuition began. Commander Woo Jin's sensors worked overtime, trying to break down the human's explanation. It was like watching someone describe color to someone who had only known black and white. Jae-hyun explained psychological resilience, how human pilots train to remain calm in chaos, to see potential solutions when standard systems suggest only problems. It wasn't about having the most advanced technology, but about having the most adaptable mind. Space is alive, he said simply. It's not a problem to be solved. It's a conversation to be understood. The alien technology struggled to process this concept. Their entire understanding of navigation was mathematical, precise, controlled. The human was describing navigation as a relationship, a dialogue between pilot and universe. Reen began recording everything. Her young mind was more open, more curious. She saw potential where her older commanders saw threat. Each of Jae-hyun's words was breaking down barriers of understanding. He showed them how human pilots train, not just with simulators, but with experiences that teach adaptability. Pilots learn from failures, from unexpected challenges. Each mistake is a lesson, not a weakness. The prototype systems continued displaying data, showing how human intuition could sometimes achieve what complex algorithms could not. It was a delicate balance between technology and human creativity. Commander. Woo Jin's communication became softer. The challenge in his voice was replaced by genuine curiosity. These humans were not just another species. They were something else entirely, adaptable, creative, unpredictable. Jae-hyun understood he was doing more than explaining navigation techniques. He was offering a glimpse into human philosophy, a way of seeing the universe that went beyond technological capability. We don't conquer space, he explained. We explore it. We respect it. We learn from it. As the knowledge exchange continued, something fundamental was happening. Two different species were finding a common language, not through words, but through understanding. The vast silent classroom of space became a place of connection, of learning, of mutual respect. The space between the human prototype and the alien squadron felt charged with a new kind of energy. Something had changed during their encounter, something profound and unexpected. Commander Woo Jin's communication signal shifted. The previous aggression had transformed into something else. Respect, curiosity, a genuine desire to understand. Your demonstration challenges everything we know about navigation, he transmitted to Jae-hyun. His voice carried a weight of admission that was difficult for his species. Admitting limitation was not their cultural norm. Reen, the young navigator, had been recording every moment of their interaction. Her sensors showed something beyond technical data. She was capturing a moment of potential connection between two very different species. The prototype moved closer to the alien squadron, not as a threat, but as an invitation. Each movement was deliberate, calm, showing no signs of aggression. It was a gesture of openness, of willingness to communicate. Jae-hyun understood this moment was bigger than himself. He represented humanity, not through weapons or force, but through skill, creativity, and an open mind. Every action was a potential bridge between species. Commander Wu Jin made an unexpected proposal. "We want to learn more about your navigation techniques," he transmitted. The request was simple, but its implications were massive. An alien military squadron asking to learn from a human pilot was unprecedented. The nearby space station became their meeting point, a neutral ground where knowledge could be exchanged without political or military complications. Alien ships and the human prototype aligned in a formation that spoke of mutual curiosity. Reen prepared documentation systems to record every detail of their interaction. This was more than a technical exchange. This was a potential first step in interspecies understanding. Jae-hyun's prototype began transmitting technical data, not as a challenge, but as a gift of knowledge. Flight recordings, navigation logs, training simulations, everything was being shared openly. Transparency became their primary communication method. The alien squadron's sensors worked overtime, analyzing every piece of transmitted information. They were discovering that human technology wasn't just different, it was fundamentally innovative in ways they had never considered. Commander Wu Jin recognized something profound. Human pilots didn't just fly spacecraft. They understood spacecraft as living systems, as extensions of human creativity and exploration. This was a revolutionary concept for their highly structured civilization. As they approached the space station, communication became more relaxed. Technical discussions mixed with subtle cultural exchanges. Each species was learning not just about navigation, but about each other's approach to exploration. Reen's excitement was visible. She began preparing reports that would likely challenge her entire civilization's understanding of space exploration. One human pilot had done what years of diplomatic missions could not: create genuine curiosity. The prototype's energy signature merged smoothly with the alien squadron's formation. It was no longer about who was more advanced, but about mutual understanding. Technology became a language of connection. Jae-hyun knew he represented more than himself. He represented human potential, the ability to adapt, to learn, to find connection in the most unexpected places. His simple act of flying had become a diplomatic mission. Commander Wu Jin's final transmission carried a tone of genuine respect. "We have much to learn from your approach," he said. The words were simple, but their meaning was enormous. The space station grew larger in their view. What had started as a potential conflict had transformed into something else entirely. A moment of mutual understanding, of species reaching across the vast, silent distances to connect. Humanity's first true interstellar diplomatic mission wasn't conducted by politicians or trained diplomats. It was conducted by a single test pilot, in a prototype spacecraft through nothing more than skill, creativity, and an open mind.